Above.
All right.
106. When somebody comes to a person and says, I gave you something to what? And he denies it. He takes a shvua. So he is basically pointing at him. He has to take a shvua. Shvui de kanya, of a kvira lo kanya. Just denying without a shvua is not enough to make him a gazan. Hachanami, when, let's say, the cow that was given to him to watch is not in his home. It's out in the meadow, the kind of agam. Because remember, until he takes a shvua, the fact that he's denying that he has it is just a delay tactic until he gets it back. There, Spira alone would coin it for him even without a shvua. Viboy Sema, some people say, what does it mean, my shvua koina that Ilfa said? Ravuna, Dram Ravuna Marav. Mana libi yatcha. You have $100 that belongs to me. V'aloi oimer ein l'cha biyadi. And he denies it. V'nishba. And he takes a shvua. V'achar kach bo edim. Not that he admitted that he lied, but edim come to say that he has the money. So potter. There he doesn't have to pay the Karen and the Chaimesh and the Asham. It's only when you admit. Shenamar shvu Hashem tia ben shnehem v'lakach ba'alav v'lo yishalem. Even shekiblu abayla shvua. Once the bailim accept a shvua, that's shuvei mishalim woman. He doesn't have to pay money. The shvua is coining it for him. Gufa. The halacha is somebody who's koifer in the claim. And he swears, and then Adim come, he has to pay Karen v'choimesh. Like Rav Nachman, not like Rav. Gufa. Amar Amar Rav, monali biyadcha. Person says, you owe me $100. I don't owe you anything. V'nishba. He takes a shvua. Ubo Adim. Adim come and say he had it. Patur shenemer v'lakach ba'alav v'lo yishalem. Kiven shekiblu bailim shvua shuvei mishamin mav. If the bailim accepted a shvua from him, he doesn't get money. Amrav mistavra milsa the Rav b'milva. Money, a loan of money, the lohotzonitna. Money is not like a pikadon that somebody gives you a vase and you hold on to the vase. Somebody gives you cash, you spend it. So there the Torah made you potter from paying it back if you take a shvua. But an object, you keep an object. He has to return it the way it is. So Rava says, Valuim, Amar Rav, Afilu b'pikadon. No. According to Rava, Rav said that even by a pikadon, if the guy takes a shvua, he doesn't have to return it. The kasiv kra v'lakach b'alav v'lo yishalem b'pikadon ksiv. It's actually written in the context of a pikadon. But Yosef, Rav Nachman v'kar l'ay shmaitza. Rav Nachman was learning this sugya. Rav Nachman. Person says to his friend, Heichan Pigdoini, where is the item I gave to you? Amaloi Avad, I lost it. So he says, Mashbiachani, do you take a shvua? V'omar Amen. V'ha'eden me'eden no so shachlo. Maiden say, no, he ate it. Mishalim is a Karen. He pays Karen if Adim did it. But Imhodim Atzmo, if he confessed that he took a false oath, Misham Karen v'choy mishva asha. That seems to imply that even after Shvu, he doesn't have to pay. Not like Rav, who said once he takes a Shvu, he doesn't have to pay. That's a Shvuah, not in Beis Din, is not a Shvuah that's going to pater him from paying. Well, let's learn the safe. If you say to your friend, Heichan Pigdoini, and Amr lo nigna, he says it was stolen. And the guy says, Mashbiach on it, you take a Shvuah, v'Amr Amen. V'ha'edin me'idno so shaganvo. And Edim come and say the guy himself stole it. So he's like a ganav. Mishan tashlume kefel. If hoide ba'atzmo, if after he took a shvuah he admits that he lied, Mishan keren v'chlai mishva asha. V'isa gedai techutz lebezdin. If you're talking about the case is not in bezdin, me'ika kefel. Kefel is only paid if you took a shvuah in bezdin. Omer la yechilin l'shliyacha. I can end for you. Reisha chutz lebezdin, the seifa bebezdin, two different cases. Biushinu et chika. Lo mishanin lach, but this kind of tough response, because normally you want to learn a Mishnah consistent, not to split the reisha and the seifa. So I can teach it. Aidi v'aidi bebezdin. Both cases. The shvuah was taken in Bezdin. Loikasha kan bekofats. Bezdin didn't force him to take the shvuah. He jumped himself and said, I'll take a shvuah. It's not like the Dayanim forced the shvuah on him. That's not a full shvuah in order to pater you. Kan b'shalot kofats. But in a case where Bezdin made you do it, that would be kanuyim. That would be called shvusada yomi, and that would he would pay kef. Urmele Rami Bar Chama Rav Nachman Michte. This shita of Rav lo svir lecha. You don't hold of this. Ashchuni nafshecha. So forcing yourself to learn these difficult dochok answers, Rav Lamalacha, why are you doing it? Just say it's a kasha on Rav. Amr lei, it's leferusha l'Rav. I'm trying to come to explain Rav. Sharav haki metartze lemas nisu. This is the way we explain the way Rav learns the Mishnah. Freit Gemara of Rav Kraka Amar. Rav quoted a pasuk. Amri Kra comes to teach me something else. Comes to teach me that kol nishban shebetor nishban v'lo mishaminu da'asa. That it's not the person who's demanding payment that takes a shvuah that says you owe me the money. It's the person who owes the money or who's claimed to owe the money who takes a shvuah and say, I don't owe you anything, I don't have to pay. Because it says, V'lakach ba'alav v'lo yishalem, mi sha'alav l'shalem hu nishba. The person who takes the shvuah is the one that is being asked to pay something. So he takes a shvuah to say, I don't owe you. He's the one who takes a shvuah min haTorah. Mosif Rav Hamnuna. Ishbiya alav. person asks for the object that he gave to somebody else. He wants it back. And he forces the guy to take a shvuah chamisha pa'amim. He asked him 5 different times, and he took a shvuah 5 times. Bein bifnei bezdin, bein shelo bifnei bezdin. Whether the shvuahs were in bezdin or not, the kafir halav, and he claims I don't have it in my possession. Chayv al kolachas v'yachas. He has to pay a chomesh asham and the keren for each shvuah. V'am Rav Shimon. After each shvuah, he can admit that he swore falsely, and there would be a chiyuv to pay. The next shvuah, he's being koifer in that obligation. Comes out that if he admits after he took a shvuah, he still has to pay. That's not like Rav. Rav said if you take a shvuah, you don't have to pay. How do we answer Rav? Hacha b'kofetz. Hacha b'kofetz lo matzis samrit. To say that he jumped the gun, didn't wait for the dayanim and swore by himself, but it says Yishbi alav ktani, which implies that Bezdin did it. To say that it happened chutz lebezdin lo matzis samrit, it says clearly bifnei Bezdin ktani. Then who? Rav Amnuna, who asked the question, he asked it and he answers it. Shelit Stadin Kani, it's 2 different cases. It's not that Mishnah isn't one continuous Mishnah with the same circumstances. Hishbi alav means chutz lebezdin, and bifnei bezdin means shekofatz. And he jumped the gun and took the shvuah without the dayanim forcing him to take the shvuah. Masif Rava. Rava asked a question on this sheet of Rav. Balabayis shetorn tanis ganav b'fikot. Somebody left a vase by Shimon, and Shimon says, it was stolen from me. V'nishba, he takes an oath, and then hoider. And then he admits that he lied. Now, the bo Edim. Edim also come to say they saw the object in his house. Im ad shelo bo Edim hoida, if he confessed before the Edim came, so like all cases of hoida, mishayim keren chomesh v'asham. Im mishibo Edim hoida, if he didn't confess until the Edim came, then he's a ganef, and mishalim tashlumei kef. And the asham, he brings it a korban asham. So here's a case again of somebody who takes an oath and he pays. What's the teretz here? Hacha chutz lebezdin, the kofetz lo matzah. You can't say that it happened outside of bezdin and he jumped the gun, because kefil ktani, kefil is only charged in bezdin. El Amar Rava, anytime that kol v'hoidim, anytime that someone takes a shvuah and confesses, it doesn't make a difference what he's denying. Lo yishna shetoin tanis avad, whether he claims that the item was lost. Lo yishna toin tanis ganav, or whether he claims it was stolen. So in those cases, lo amar Rav, that he would be potter to pay. The haksi v'hisvada, because it says v'hisvadu et chatasam asher asu, v'hishivas hashamo brosho, v'chamishiso yosef alav v'nasan l'asher hashamo. Meaning anybody who confesses when he takes an oath regarding a pikotin that's by him, boilish lu mekeren v'chomesh. If he was lying, he has to pay principal and chomesh. If he's toyin tanis ganav ubo edim, if he claims that the object was stolen, and the edim come and say, no, he had it all wrong, nami lo amar Rav, that he doesn't have to pay. The haksiv tashlumei kefil, it says very clearly in the Torah that he has to pay kefil like a ganav. Ki kamar, When did Rav say his thing that he takes a shvua and doesn't pay? In a specific case. Gon shetointan is ava. He claims that the item that was given to him in deposit was lost. Vinishba, and he takes an oath. But lo hoida, he doesn't confess. Ubo edim. Edim come to say he had it all along. In that case, the shvua is coined for him, he doesn't have to pay. Other Rav Gamda Varmer L'Shmaitz Lamr Shmaitza Kamed Rav Ashi. Rav Gamda learned this sugi in front of Rav Ashi. Amar Lei Hashta Umar Rav Hamnuna Shetamudi de Rav. Rav Hamnuna was a Talmud of Rav. The Yada de Amar Rav, that Rav said that you're potter to pay by a case of hoida when you admit. The kamoisiv, and they brought a Mishnah in a case where a person admits. Va'at amrid shahoida lo amarav, and you're talking that in that case Rav didn't say it was potter. Amar Ravacha Saba, Ravashi Rav Hamnuna did not ask Rav regarding the case where he admits. He asks on Rav about the case where Adim come after he took an oath. V'hachi kakashale. This was problematic. Iamrit bishma nishba, that he took an oath and ki asu Adim, and then Adim come without him admitting, and they mechayiv him to pay. Amtu lahachi mechavinan lei korban ashvuas basraisa. They would make him have to bring a korban as well. Because he can always admit. And but if you're going to say that the case where the Adim came, he doesn't have to pay anything. That in other cases where the Adim come, and we say that it's potter, and we're going to say that it's chayiv, a korban on the shvua that he took, because of hoil v'yachal laser lo'idos, hashtem yes lo'odi, he has not admitted. Adim came. So as an extra shvua is not going to be done to deny money payment. So the sheet of Rava, in the way Rava explained Rav, is not asked from that Mishnah. Period. Rav Chia bar Rav Rav Yechina. Atointon is gonna be fikad. Person goes to his friend and says, "Give me back the item I gave you to watch," and he claims it was stolen. And then it comes out that he was the one who stole it. Mishalem tashlume kefir. He pays kefir like a regular ganef. Tavachu mochar, if he shechted it or sold it, Mishan tashlume arba v'chamisha, like a regular ganef. Hoil v'ganef mishan tashlume kefir. The toin tainis ganef mishan tashlume kefir. Since the regular ganef pays kefir, and now comes out that's a guy who says, "I don't have the pikadon because it was stolen," but he was the real ganef. He also pays kefil. So ma ganef shu misham kefil tovach umacha misham teshumei arba v'chamisha. A regular ganef, if he sold the item he stole or shechted it, he has to pay 4 times or 5 times. Avtoyin tanis ganef b'fikadon. Kishu misham teshumei kefil tovach umacha misham teshumei arba v'chamisha. That's Rav Yechanan's statement. But we say mala ganef. You have a ganef. There's no shvua involved. If he's caught red-handed with the item, he pays kefil. Somebody who claims that the item that was deposited with him was stolen, he takes a shvua, and then he either admits or Adim come, and he's a liar. He can't learn to Ganef that he pays Dal Ve'eh, so here also he should pay Dal Ve'eh. Amri Akeshahi. The Torah makes a hekesh between the two cases. Ve'ein Meshivin al Akesha. You can't ask a kash on a hekesh. Hani Chlamanda Omar Chad Beganef. V'chad B'toin Tanis Ganef. One pasuk is by Ganef. And one who's only claiming that the item was stolen. So there's a hekesh. Shapir. Elmanda Omar. Hi im yimatzei haganav and the imlo yimatzei, both are dealing with toin tanis ganav, then there's no hekesh. Michael Lemema. Amri ganav hagan. From the extra hay comes to teach me that just like by a ganav you pay dal the hay, a toin tanis ganav also pays dal the hay. On this shita, we're going to ask the following question. Person goes to his friend and says, "Hey, Shoyri, where's my ox?" And his friend says, "Nick never was stolen." And the guy says, "Mashbiach ane, take a shvua." V'amar amen, he says, "I agree." Then Eidim me'idno so shachlu. Me'idin come and say two Eidim come and say we saw him eat the shore. Meshalim tashlume kefil. Now, how do you eat the shore? You got to shecht it. Why doesn't it say dal ve'ei? Uktane mishlam teshulme kefil. So it's a kash on the sheet of Rav, the sheet of Rav Yochanan. Teshulme kefil in teshulme Rav Chamisha lo. Hoch ba'eskin kon she'achlo nevela. He ate it without shchita. We shechted it, and the animal was in the vela through the shchita, and it's not considered a valid shchita to make you pay to arba v'chamisha. So vilishani lei, why didn't they give an answer? Kigon she'achlu treifa. According to Rav Shimon, a shchita that doesn't allow you to eat the animal because it's treif is also not considered a shchita that makes you pay dal vei. Why did you have to come onto the extreme of that example of him eating the vela? So the Gemara answers because Rav Yochanan holds like Rav Meir. The Omar shchita she'ena ru'uya shma shchita. He couldn't answer that a shchita that doesn't allow you to eat it is not considered a good shchita because such a shchita is considered a good shchita for dal vei. Now, another answer could have been v'lashanale ben pakua. A calf born through a cesarean section after you shech the mother, so you're allowed to eat the ben pakua even without shchita. So it's not necessarily that he was seen eating the meat; he had to do the shchita. That's why there's no dal ve'ei. So again, the Gemara says Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rav Meir, the Omar ben pakua ton shchita. That he holds that a calf born through a cesarean section requires its own shchita. You're not allowed to eat it through the mother's shchita. So again, another answer could have been given to Vilashanale, Yigon Sha'amad Bedin. This
have we learned Ben Pekua from the Torah? It's a Doraisa.
No, there's a machlokas whether you need shchita or not for a ben pekua.
Oh, but isn't it from the Doraisa that you don't need a shchita?
No, it's a machlok. Yes, machlokes tanoim. Since it started off, it was like part of an early pregnancy was certainly part of the busser of the mother,
Right.
that way, even though it becomes independent. Others say it's more like a gzeira. If you see somebody eating the animal without shchita, they're going to think you can eat an animal without shchita. So it's more like a gzeira. Rav Meir holds mamish that the animal is considered a behem alatzmo, and he needs shchita min Torah. And some say even when he gets to be an adult, he remains in that status. And some say that you'd only require shchita midivrei chachamim. You always require shchita. The only question is, do you need shchita on the ben pakua as just exer chachamim, or is it requires shchita min Torah? That's the machlokas.
All right, I see. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hello? This is who?
This is Uriel Iqbali. I'm a physician. I spoke with you a couple of months ago regarding one of the rabbis in the community. Do you have a moment?
I'm actually teaching a Talmud shiur right now. Can we talk
Okay.
Can we talk at 9 o'clock?
No problem. I'll call you at night.
Call
Thank
me
you very
back at
much.
9 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kigon sha'ama b'din, this guy who was holding on the pikadon, who claimed that it was stolen, was taken to Bezdin. V'amru lo tzei tein lo. And the Dayanim said, they paskin, you have to give him back. The Amar Rava, if tzei tein lo, and then tovachumach or potter, you don't have to pay davei if you shechted it after Bezdin said tzei tein lo. My timer. Kivin de paske lemilsa. This is the way Bezdin paskined, and tzei tein lo, and then it's not a geneva anymore. And he didn't listen to what Bezdin told him to do. V'tovachumach gazlan. Now he's not a ganav anymore. He's a gazlan. The gazlan lo mishlantem shei arba v'chamisha. Only a ganav pays davei, not a gazlan. Like somebody who openly steals only pays, does not pay davei. But if in Bezdin they told him chayav atalitein lo, not say tein lo, you're obligated to pay him. The tovachumach chayav, then you have to pay davei. My timer. Kokama de lo psikale milsa. If it wasn't paskined absolute by Bezdin, akati ganef, he remains a ganef, and therefore you'd have to pay dal vehe. Ulatamech, the Shani Lay could have answered a different way. B'shutuv shetovach shalom midas chaveru. What if it was owned as a partnership, and one partner shechs without the other guy knowing? There, you don't pay dal vehe. So elachad mitrei plus a naked. So take one of the three various shitas, the terutzim that we gave, and any one of them can work. Different case. A case of pikadon is a case where George is traveling to China, and George deposits his Gemara with his neighbor and says, I'll take it back once I come back from China. That's what we've been dealing with up until now. Toya and Tainis pikadon, a deposit that was given with somebody, and when the original owner comes back to claim it, the guy claims it was stolen. Now we're dealing with something else. You find a lost object on the street, an aveda. What's the din? You have a chiyuv to return it. So a guy finds out that Reuven found a lost object that belongs to him. So he knocks on Reuven's door, and I say, I want my lost object back. And he claims it was stolen from him. And he takes a shvuah, and then it comes out that he lied, and he has it all along. Again, the halacha is mishalim teshlumei kefil, like a ganav. My timer, tichsiv, that in the parsha of kefil, al kol aveda asher yomar. So even if you're toying tainas ganav baveda, you pay kefil. So we're learning A person is judged as a ganef not just when you go in and steal something from somebody, but if you deny that you have a pikodon, or you deny that you have found a lost object. In all those cases, you're treated like a ganef, and you have the same monetary punishment you have to pay kefil. Ace favor of Abba Barmamal Rav Chia Barab. It says ki yitain ish el re'eyu kesef or kelim lishmor. Person gave to his friend money or items to watch. What does it mean, ish? Ein asinas cotton klum. It's not talking about a minor who gave something to his friend. It's got to be an adult. The ainly elishanosnu kishu cotton, the tavo kishu cotton. When are you potter? If it was given when the guy was a cotton, and he claimed it when he was a cotton. But nasnu kishu cotton, the tavo kishu gadol. He gave it or lost it as a cotton, and then comes to claim it when he was a gadol. Minayin, that's also not a claim that would require payment. Talmud loymar. Ada Elohim yavod var shneim. Ad shetei nesina utvia shavin ke'echad. The giving and the claiming have to be in the same stats. They both have to be adults. That's the baraisa. Now, im Isa, if Rav Yochanan is correct, now that baraisa is talking about a pikodon. He gave something to watch. So the guy would be potter to pay you if when the item was given to him, the guy was a cotton, or when he claimed it, he was a cotton. Now, if Rav Yochanan is correct, that if a person finds a lost object, he also pays kefil if he denies. So why should this be any worse than that? To have inami ke'aveda shouldn't be worse than an aveda, where if it's found in somebody's hands and he denies it, he has to pay kefil. So the Gemara wants to extend the din of aveda to the case, even when a cotton gives something, why should it be any less than a lost object? The guy who found the lost thing ate it when the bialim was a cotton. Now, when he's an adult and he comes to claim it, it's not an existing anymore. So, aval kishu gadol mai. If he ate it while the guy was a gadol, ochanami shemishalem, would he? So in that case, would he have to pay? Adatana achetei nesina tvia shavin ke'echad. Listening achetei achilu tvia shavin ke'echad. It shouldn't be the giving and the claiming. It should be the eating and the claiming. Omerle, fine. Tani, amend the baraisa. Achetei achilu tvia shavin ke'echad. Ravashi Omar. Lo dami. These are not comparable. You can't compare the baraisa that deals with the giving of a cotton to the case of a lost object. Aveda ka'asya mikoch ben das. Somebody who lost an object, somebody who was a ben das who lost it. But v'halo asa mikoch ben das. Here, when the cotton gave something to somebody, he was not a ben das. So you can't compare the two cases. Okay, I'm going to stop here because this begins a new sugya. We'll learn this tomorrow at 7:30. I will call back at 8 o'clock when we start the